Planes are really cool. You know, you like planes, I like planes.
Let's make it so the wind could just be hitting my balls and shit. Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
And in this video, yes, we will be building Academy's 148 skill F-86 Sabre. Now, I ain't gonna lie with you guys. When I first opened up these instructions, I was like, oh my god, what am I getting myself into? However, when you take a look at them, it's not that bad. Alright, so, getting into it, there are about 4 different screws with all the parts, plus the decals. Now it's time for step 1, the cockpit. And so after that, the next step was to glue part of the engines together, which would fit to the back of the cockpit, which is pretty cool to see actually. They put some really cool engine detail into this kit. And you'll see later in the video that you can display this kit with the back cut off and the engine exposed. So, after an hour, I got both parts finally done, and now it's time to focus more on the cockpit. Thankfully, the cockpit seat consisted of just 2 parts. The seat itself and whatever was on the back of it that holds it in place. And now with those 2 parts glued down, I was able to put down one more piece in the cockpit, which I could not tell you what the name of it is, just the floorboard I'm assuming. And then I put the seat in there, and it fit pretty smooth, I can't lie. And so after that, the last thing to do was to clip out the instrument panel. And I got that glued into the interior, and so after that, this is what we're looking at. And now comes the fun part, getting those fuselage halves clipped out. Now, one really cool thing that I liked about this kit was the fact that if you wanted to display the engine exposed, there's these almost bridge-like pieces that show off the detail that is inside the F-86. However, we will not be using those pieces. So, for some reason, my smooth brain decided to cut them out anyways, even though you'll see soon that these pieces will be ripped out. So, off camera, I painted the interior of the kit in a grayish color. I almost did it in an interior green color, and a quick Google search would lead you to show that after World War II, we stopped using interior green. However, I can't lie guys, I actually like how this came out. I'm pretty impressed with myself, I will say that. Alright, so after gawking at my work, it is now time to insert the cockpit into the fuselage. Alright, so because this plane has a front landing gear, that means it is time to add a nose weight. For this, I will be using these fishing weights that are cone-shaped. To force this weight to hold its place, I applied some super glue. Once that was all done and completed, it was now time to add the engine itself. I can't even explain to you how, but this process took like a solid 3 minutes because I guess my brain just was not working at all. But at the end, it all went in nice and smooth, and it looks pretty cool. And with it all glued in place and sitting still, look at that. And so after about a solid 5 minutes of it sitting there, it was time to now glue the other fuselage half together. There wasn't any bad fitment with this kit, just a couple slight problems, but this was very quickly fixed with this clamper thing that I found on the workbench. So while that clamp was hard at work, holding the nose together, I glued more of the fuselage together. Now, you might be seeing this and think, oh my god, you're gonna get glue smudges all over there. Somehow, we made it out a-okay without any glue smudges. I don't know how, but we did it. Now, similar to the front nose problem, the back end of the fuselage was having some fitment problems also. So simply, I just took the clamp, put it on there, and it worked. Now comes the fun part, the wings. Honestly, the wings were really easy to do. There was absolutely no fitment problems with these at all. Just sanding some of the nubs off, and it all went together really well, actually. Getting these wings to connect to the fuselage was really simple. You just put some glue in the fuselage, and then you just kind of force it into place. Alright, and so with the bottom part of the wings glued to the fuselage, it's time to glue the top of the wings together. And with that done, we are cooking here. Alright, it is now the next day. And overnight, I applied some white putty to where the fuselage and wings met because there's a few gaps. So now, we're going to be sanding those down. And oh my god, this took probably an hour and a half, and my hands after this were destroyed. But it works a lot. There were a few seams I had to fill in, and it took about 10 minutes or so to fill in each seam, but this improves the aircraft and model kit a lot. I mean, it looks really, really good.
Them employees that's getting on your nerves, them budgets, them meetings, let it go.
After that tedious task was done, it is now time to add the elevators. And now with those added, look at that. It's coming along really, really good. However, we're not done yet. Shit! The last and final step before I'm able to prime this is adding that nose cone. And with that nose cone applied, look at that. Oh my goodness. Now, I lied. So, we're not done yet. There's these little hatch parts, I don't know what they're called, to add on to the top of the plane. And so with those applied, the last pieces to add were the air brakes. Thankfully, these pieces were easy to fit into the aircraft. It required no seam filling at all, and I left them closed because I didn't really feel like having to then mask around to paint the interior color at all. So on a future build, I will display them open. Okay, so I lied again.
I'm a lying piece of shit.
This is the last part, I swear.
Swear to me!
It's these little tips you put on the wings. I'm not exactly too sure what they are, but these are the last pieces to add before we can start finally priming the aircraft. Okay, so the last part to add for this build before priming is this front section underneath the nose in front of the front landing gear.
What the hell are you talking about?
Now, this part gave me a lot of problems. I'm not too sure if it was on me, if it was on the kit, but as you can clearly see, this does not fit at all.
Won't fit. So the salami leg won't fit the salami leg.
So I had to do some very, very careful snipping. So instead of snipping it, I tried pressing the part in and I completely snapped it in half. So to fix this, I'm going to have to take both parts and simply glue each part in to the best I can. Now, it's not a huge gap, so it won't require a lot of putty, so we're gonna have to make do with what we can. Alright, and thankfully it worked. It looks not too bad. It'll do. So the last part I had to add off camera was the pilot's headrest of the cockpit. And with that glued in, it looks really good. The cockpit actually came out really, really well. I'm very happy with how I was able to do on this. Alright, and that concludes part 1 of the build series. The F-86 looks really, really good, and I cannot wait to paint this thing. Thus being said, here's some footage of me stuffing the cockpit with paper towels and masking off the rest of it. Thank you all for watching, and this build series will continue with a part 2 of me painting the F-86. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.